Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, it's finally happening, folks. Accountability seems to be catching up with these people who thought that they could fund, who thought that they could terrorize American cities without consequence. For years, groups like Rose City Antifa operated openly in Portland. They engaged in violence and intimidation, thinking that they would be protected forever, that the left-wing politicians in Portland would have their back, or that their black bloc tactic of Antifa not being an organization, but rather just being an idea, a decentralized group of people who all just organically engage in terror attacks in an organized fashion, as if that would fly and we'd all be like Jerry Nadler, unable to even pinpoint the existence of this terrorist network. But now, folks, it's all falling apart. The network is cracking. And the best proof of that is not just these Antifa goons facing justice on the streets. No, we're actually seeing their organizers, their financiers, their leaders now fleeing the country and flying to Europe. And that's, of course, in response to the Trump administration declaring Antifa a terrorist organization, as well as signaling a new focus on the people actually behind the scenes organizing these domestic terror movements. This is big news that obviously the left-wing lamestream media won't cover, so let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so here's a really interesting piece from Andy No. According to independent journalist Christian Peterson, two of Rose City Antifa's key organizers, that's Johan and Caroline Victorin, have reportedly fled the United States and are now hiding in Varberg, Sweden. Take a look.
Just nu är jag på plats i Varberg, Halland för att försöka få en intervju med Johan och Caroline Victorin som grundar den numera terrorstämplade vänsterextrema våldsgruppen Rose City Antifa i Portland, USA. I USA så är det olagligt att grunda en kriminell organisation och både Caroline och Johan riskerar att åtalas för bland annat conspiracy. Så planen är att vi ska försöka få en intervju med Johan när han går ut genom dörren och försöka få svar på våra frågor om han är rädd för att åtalas nu av en amerikansk domstol.
Tjenare Johan, jag har lite frågor om Rose City Antifa som du var med och grundade. Du blev ju avslöjad av Project Veritas, både du och Caroline. Står ni bakom mordet på Charlie Kirk? Johan, skulle man kunna få en kommentar om terrorstämplingen av Rose City Antifa? Du är ju medborgare i USA. Är du rädd för att själv dömas för conspiracy eller?
Now, these are the same individuals who helped organize and run one of the most violent Antifa chapters in the country. That's Rose City Antifa. I'm sure you guys have heard it before. This is a group that's been responsible for countless riots, assaults, property destruction across Portland, not to mention the arson. Can't forget the arson. And now, well, they've fled the country. I think the timing is no coincidence. After federal agencies began building cases and the Trump administration signaled new terrorist designations, well, they're fleeing. Probably because they know exactly what's coming. I'm sure they'll chalk it up to fascism. Oh, we're no longer safe in Trump's America. But what's more likely, a more likely explanation is, they probably have something that they're running from. They probably know that the feds have them dead to rights if they were actually to bring criminal cases. And so they're evading the law, they're evading capture. But honestly, I gotta say, once again, these people prove that they're not exactly the smartest in the bunch. They decide to flee to European countries instead of someplace that wouldn't extradite. I'm pretty sure if the Trump administration was to bring charges against these individuals and they were hiding in Sweden or, like in this next case, in Spain, I'm pretty sure these European governments would hand these people over to the feds in a flash, especially after all the tariff stuff. I think the last thing any European nation wants is to get on Donald Trump's bad side, lest they bring on the terror of tariffs once again. But anyways, now moving on to the second case, we've got another individual by the name of Mark Bray. He's the author of the Antifa Handbook and a longtime promoter of so-called anti-fascist resistance. Well, he's announced that he's leaving the country too, reportedly heading to Spain. Bray, of course, is like the rest of these fools. He's built his career glorifying political violence. He just recently wrote this on Blue Sky: "Only mass anti-fascism can save us, legal or not." Yeah, not exactly a peaceful protester. Another one of these university professors egging on political violence, basically justifying political violence, saying that it's needed. Well, this guy now citing supposed threats to his life is now fleeing fleeing to Spain. Let me ask you, do you think that's really what he's fleeing? Of course not. These Antifa organizers know that the time is up. They've been utterly and totally exposed to the country, and the likelihood is that the feds have a whole lot more on them than you might expect, and clearly nobody's buying this whole Antifa's a myth or Antifa's not a real organization, this whole decentralization nonsense, especially as every new piece of evidence seems to point to the exact opposite, seems to prove otherwise. Obviously, someone is coordinating, someone is financing, somebody's giving orders. All of these people, again, don't show up in mass in one place accidentally. The fact that these people can even exist without working jobs, the tents and operations that they set up, the equipment that they have ready, there's something and someone behind it. There are groups that are coordinating, financing, and giving orders. And actually, speaking of that, we've got the DHS, or, well, I guess Kristi Noem, revealing some pretty damning intelligence here, suggesting coordinated plots to target ICE agents.
Our intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's been $2,000 to kidnap them, $10,000 to kill them. They've released their pictures. They've sent them between their networks, and it's an extremely dangerous situation and unprecedented. So we've put protective detail around those individuals, changed some of our operations to keep our officers safe. But make no mistake, this isn't just about, protesting free speech or that they don't like that people out here are upholding the law of our country. They're actually going out there and saying, kill these people and we'll give you this much money to do it.
Casual reports of bounties being placed on agents' heads. According to her statement, there's prices ranging from $2,000 to kidnap and $10,000 to kill federal officers. Explicit terrorism, organized terrorism, funded terrorism. And this is why it's so important, this is why it's right to classify Antifa-affiliated groups as domestic terrorist organizations. These are not peaceful protesters. These are organizations that are using fear and violence to control cities like Seattle, Portland, Chicago, New York City. But most importantly, these are organizations that are using fear, violence, and intimidation to attain a political ends. In other words, the literal definition of terrorism. And now, well, finally, we have an administration that isn't looking the other way. No, they're bringing the damn hammer down. And look at what's happening. All of a sudden, their leaders are running for cover, they're running to hide. For years, the left-wing political apparatus pretended that these Antifa people either didn't exist or that they were social revolutionary heroes, all while making claims like Joe Biden claimed that Ultra MAGA was the greatest terror threat to America. But I think it's becoming abundantly clear at this point that the real threat to the country is Antifa. And now hopefully it's time to put the pedal to the metal and to put an end to this era of chaos once and for all. If you're engaging in terroristic activities, you should be facing severe penalty, as Pam Bondi suggested during the Tesla arson attacks, 25 years in federal prison. Political intimidation, terrorism should not be tolerated in a modern, civilized country, period. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.